Chelsea are highly interested in making a fourth major splash in the winger market this summer, even though their attack is already showing signs of renewed vigor under Enzo Maresca after dropping a six-burger on Wolves this past weekend. After adding Portuguese stars Pedro Neto and João Felix, Chelsea have their eyes on Manchester United superstar Jadon Sancho, who is on the outs at Old Trafford due to his acrimonious relationship with manager Erik ten Hag. As of right now, Chelsea are exploring potential swap deals with Manchester United in order to acquire Sancho, hoping that the Red Devils will reduce the winger's asking price by accepting a player the Blues no longer want anyway. Veteran Premier League winger Raheem Sterling is Chelsea's ideal candidate, as he no longer has a place in the club's present or future as a 29-year-old riding the bench. Chelsea are actively shopping him, but Chelsea could also try to use a non-forward who could help Man United. Left-back Ben Chilwell is just as discarded from Maresca's plans as Sterling and is another player the London-based giant would love to get rid of before the transfer window ends. According to a report from BBC Sports' Simon Stone, Manchester United would not be interested in acquiring Chilwell in a swap deal for Jadon Sancho, and Man United are firm on wanting a fair price for Sancho in a permanent transfer or loan with an obligation to buy. Juventus have been having a hard time ponying up the money for Sancho as a Federico Chiesa replacement, as they're trying to save up for Atlanta star Tuan Koopmeiners too. Meanwhile, Chelsea have already invested heavily in attackers and see Sancho as a market opportunity, so their priority is to kill two birds with one stone by acquiring a great English forward while axing a player they were already looking to sell like Sterling or Chilwell. Sterling remains a possible trade chip for Chelsea to use in order to acquire one of last season's big Champions League stars, but Chilwell is unsurprisingly someone the Blues will have to take off their list of possible swaps. Rio Ferdinand has called Manchester United's summer transfer strategy into question after the Red Devils agreed to sell a player who had been key in Erik ten Hag's first two seasons. Rio Ferdinand has questioned Manchester United's decision to sell Scott McTominay to Napoli. The midfielder is set to move to the Serie A side in a $25 million deal, though personal terms still need to be agreed. Since graduating from United's academy, McTominay has become a regular fixture in their first team. In total, the 27-year-old has made 255 appearances in all competitions for the Red Devils. But he has fallen down the pecking order under Erik ten Hag, with the Dutchman pursuing a move for another midfielder in PSG star Manuel Ugarte. Despite that, Ferdinand has been left stunned at the decision to let McTominay leave. He warned United boss ten Hag that he is making a mistake in forcing out the Scot, even though he is not in his plans. I look at Scott McTominay, and not every player can be a star, a standout player. But to win the league, you need the likes of John O'Shea, Wes Brown, Darren Fletcher. You need a Julian Alvarez at Man City. Ferdinand told Vibe with 5. They might not start every game, but they were huge. You need those players, and most of them know the DNA of the club, especially ones who have come through the academy. There's a lot to be said for that. It really doesn't sit well with me. To replace him, you're going to have to spend 30M or 40M and give him $150,000 a week probably. It's not going to be cheap, and it's a gamble. You don't know what you're going to get. Whereas with McTominay, you know what you're getting. He might not always be a 910, but invariably, he's a solid 710, and sometimes he will be an 810 and get you a goal. McTominay still has a year to run on his contract at United, but selling him would represent pure profit when it comes to the Premier League's financial rules. Napoli sporting director Giovanni Manna has held extensive talks with United over a move for the midfielder. Earlier this summer, United registered a 20M bid from Fulham, who moved on to other targets. The decision to sell McTominay represents something of a U-turn, after ten Hag claimed he wanted the Scot to remain at the club. We have very good players, so there will always be an interest from other clubs. When you score 10 goals in a season and also perform very good for Scotland, then there will be an interest, the Dutchman said in July. But we want to keep him because he is a very important player for our squad. What he can contribute, as we saw last season once we had our sixes available, he could play in a more advanced role.